Hello everybody, this is Strephon Kaplan Williams, philosopher psychologist. What is this, What is this? Notice it's turning motion when I turn it. Now what is this? This, of course, is an object, An object. What are the basic things we know about it? See, we have the objects of our environment, our psyche, our universe. Comb my hair a little. I comb on one side of my head, and then I comb on the other side. So, as a philosopher, we're trying to understand the core nature of things. The core nature, so that when we grasp something, we experience something in itself, we want to have some idea what that is, so that if we ever encounter it again, we'll have an advanced step on it. We'll be able to do something maybe significant with it. So, what is this? Now, what is this? What does this, what do you associate to this? What is your own thought process, So, now if I use a coin, and it doesn't show up well in this situation, but how many sides are there to this coin? Well, actually there are 3 sides if we count the edge. Well, that's also a side. And even if we got down to 1 molecule, metal thick, it would still be a side. But for the moment, coins have 2 sides. And so what does this say? Why in our money system is each side of the coin always somewhat different? So this is usually a coin has, and this is a euro from Europe. It has a face on one side, and it has a number 1 on the other side. So here's another object that has, well, if we don't count this for illustration or theoretical point, the edge as a side, we have 2 sides. We flip it over, don't we? In our common parlance, it's heads and tails, isn't it? So what does this illustrate? This illustrates, this is my contention, this is my statement, the metaphysics. The basic proposition is how we think is based on universal principles and laws of way energy acts in the universe. Energy is our primary entity in the universe. In defining it in one definition in physics, energy is the ability to move. I've never liked that term because it's too psychological. So, but movement, motion is not energy. Movement and motion, we're moving, that's an effect of a cause. The energy is the inference, isn't it? It's the inference based on experiencing movement. Now there's a fundamental principle that is a priori, that is prior to movement itself, and we abstractly call that energy. We'll leave that for the moment now, because what is philosophy? Epistemology is the awareness, the exploration of fundamental core principles. So why am I talking using logic, Because way before human beings were around or animals were around, the universe was already running. There were already 2 sides to things. How many sides does a sphere have, by the way? But a flat surface, and there's another principle. The horizontal surface, the two-dimensional surface, and the three-dimensional can be round. Or if it's square, it has, how many sides does a cube have? 6, right? Okay, there's 4 sides that way and then 2 on the opposite. So this represents heads or tails, the common you can bet on heads and tails. Is it going to come up heads, then you win? Tails, I lose, Heads I win, tails you lose. Okay, said that as a kid. So here is a fundamental. So often in making coins, they make each side different. Well, there we have again the fundamental of opposites. That we realize that the universe, and our logic realizes this, is made up of contrasting entities which are related to each other both by their similarities and their differences. Okay, one side, that's about in circular circumference, that's about the same as this side and that side, but each side is different by design, Okay, that's made by the human being, but each side is fundamentally different because one side is the opposite of the other side. You cannot have one side of anything, can you? Now, this is my God, the amazing paradox. To form an entity, an object, a being, you have to have fundamentally 2 sides. I have a back side to my body and I have a forward side, don't I? If I move north, there is going to be south. That's just the way it goes, If I move south, there's going to be the opposite. Now this is not just naming things like naming places on a map. You cannot have north without having south, whatever you call it. So you cannot have one opposite without fundamentally having the other opposite. I'll say it again, you cannot have one opposite without fundamentally having the other opposite. My God, then this, in daily life, this solves my sexual problem, I'm going to fundamentally relate to someone who carries the opposite sexual organs that I do, because these are opposites. Now, how do I know that they're opposites? Because they have the ability to unite, male and female genitals, the penis and the vagina, right? So these are, this is fundamental, and this is why you could say philosophically there is no such thing as lesbian relationships or homosexual male-to-male relationships, because it's just an impossibility. You cannot have 2 of the same thing relating to each other. You cannot have 2 of this side to create an object. You must have, to create this object, you must have one side and then you must have the other side. Here, and I'll prove the point. This is a coin. This is one side and this is the other side, This could not exist as a coin if it didn't have 2 sides. These are 2 sides which are opposite to each other because they both exist at the same moment and place in time, and yet they are not the same thing. How can it be that we have 2 things existing as one entity, one object, one being, right? And to illustrate it again with the bigger